Reddit, what is the worst secret your so is keeping from you, but that you actually know? Broke up a few days ago, but she would send lewd snaps of herself before after showering to her guy friend. One time I was just laying in bed and she went to shower, turned the water on, heard her clothes fall to the floor. Then I heard the iPhone camera sound. Didn't think anything of it. Weeks later, similar situation. I walk in to use the restroom and see her camera right as she takes a Snapchat of her just barely not showing her nipples and biting her lip. I couldn't read the name of the recipient, but name had unmistakable images on it and I knew who it for. I just said okay and did my business. She kind of fumbled some sort of excuse but I just didn't say anything. Broke up the following week for a multitude of reasons, but that definitely didn't help any. My husband thinks I can't hear him fart when he's smoking cigarettes on the back porch. It's kind of endearing. He occasionally buys cookies when I'm at work and eats them all. It's fine. I sometimes eat candy only after he's gone to bed. Guess neither of us like to share our treats. I know about her Reddit alt. After 20 years together I would love to know he had a secret. He tells me everything. Earlier today he sneezed and pooped his pants. He didn't have to tell me, he just did. There needs to be some secrets. My now fiancé registered sign had my engagement ring hidden for almost 3 years. We picked it out together and he wasn't good at hiding that he bought it. He also wasn't good at hiding it because during one of our moves he hid it in one of my boxes. I told him I knew he had it once he proposed and he was so upset but it was really cute. He tried so hard to hide it but he really can't keep a secret. Edit. I should add that I told him I knew about a week later. I didn't say I knew about it right when he proposed. About 10 years ago my wife drunkenly made out with a guy friend of hers at a birthday party. I only knew because she left her messaging client open where she confessed it to her best friend. I let it slide because she seemed genuinely upset that she did it and vowed to her friend that it would never happen again. We've been married for over 20 years now so it hasn't dampened the relationship at all. Now mind you I never left the two of them together alone again. I'm forgiving. Not stupid. My ex cheated for the better part of our relationship. I knew about most of it but stuck it out for the kid. At one point she stayed at a friend's house for a few days. No reason why. Couple months later while going in her wallet I notice an ultrasound with date stamps for around the time she was gone. I assumed she had an abortion during that time. I finally worked up the courage to leave that relationship about a year later for many reasons. I have never talked to her about that, and don't ever plan to. But can't help wonder if it could have been mine. Probably not but you never know. I know what he got me for my birthday, but that's okay. I'm excited. She texts her ex all day every day, selfies, tells him he misses him. They have movie text dates where they watch the same movie at the same time. They fall asleep on the phone together. Worst for me is they talk it about me and she refers to me as number 3 as in her third boyfriend. She makes stuff up and will tell him something I did that never happened and they will call me a pussy and laugh. She hasn't sent nudes yet and never agrees to meet up with him in person although he frequently tries. She will occasionally mention to me oh my ex is texting me he's so annoying. Meanwhile she's waiting for me to sleep so she can watch a movie with him. Sucks finding out through our kid's tablet that is synced with her phone. I'm still not sure how or when I'm going to break it off. She tells me she has to go poop but I know she just goes in there to browse IG and FB to get away from me and our crazy ass kids for 15-20 minutes. I know this because I do the same thing. That using the restroom means he's going to poop. He only says that when it's a number 2. Also he was using my body wash for a month because he liked to smell pretty. She enables her junkie brother she swears she wrote off. He's been in and out of rehab so often they had to replace the door. So much cheating on here. Anyway, here's one. My wife of 15 years, together for 19, has a secret savings account. Her family has some bad luck with marriage, and she was really slow to marry me because she didn't want to be also trapped. So she saved up several months worth of living expenses. She hasn't really touched it since, and has never mentioned it to me. It's the only account with statements emailed directly to her, rather than an email we both access. It's absolutely there so that she could, if needed, leave. It's not a fortune by any means, but could keep her afloat for 3-4 months. I tried to gently bring it up once, as a hypothetical, and she flat out denied it, in a Ossadeth protest too much kind of way. I told her it would be okay with me either way. Truth is, I really don't mind. It makes her feel better, and we've built a fantastic life together. I know she views it more as an insurance policy than anything else, and figure if we ever really do need the money we'll cross that bridge then. Plus I suppose she's still married to me because she wants to be, not because she has to be. Not me, but a friend. My friend dated a co-worker for a while. His girlfriend was starting to become friends with my girlfriend, and at a party, I overheard her drunkenly telling my girlfriend that she'd go to work parties and frequently make out with their other co-workers. Being my best friend, I told him. A couple days later at work he was about to talk to her about it, but before he brought it up, she broke up with him because she wasn't used to someone being this nice to her. She never found out that he knew. I know that my GF has joined a lawsuit against a certain taxi carpooling company regarding being sexually assaulted by one of their drivers. I know about the assault, but she hasn't told me about the lawsuit. Just saw a message from the lawyer handling her case one day and haven't asked her about it or brought it up. My wife sneaks beef jerky. We've been vegetarians for 20 years. Well, I've been vegetarian for 20 years. He's my ex now, obviously, but we were together for 9 years and he cheated on me for over a year with a coworker. He kept her a secret because she was underage. He was 26. She was 16, almost 17. Once she turned 18, they made it public. But he mentioned her in work stories here and there and I never thought of it as being anything. Then he started driving me to work and keeping the car, then picking me up. Wanted me nowhere near his workplace. Put a password on his phone. Got texts at odd hours, like 6 AM, while she was waiting on the bus. Nossos copyright a ring. I left work early and a friend took me to his workplace to meet him instead of him coming to mine to pick me up. Surprise. They left together, hand in hand. Several minutes after everyone else exited the building. I had already figured it out at this point, but I stupidly waited for him to come clean instead of calling him out. He wouldn't. He worked as a retail manager and had a keeper box and magnet in our house. So I locked his phone inside while he was in the shower and hid the magnetic key. I made him tell me everything, which he knew I already knew, before I would unlock his phone. Then I kicked him out. Neosus copyright a ring. No longer my so, but technically never found out I knew, so I guess it's related. My ex cheated on me while I was away from home for a few months. And after about a year of trying to get back to an okay place in our relationship, I found out that at one point during this span of time when we were back in our hometown again, she said she was going to go hang out with some old friends, but went to go see the guy she cheated on me with again. I have no details on what actually happened, but I can't take a wild guess. The sad part is I only found out because she actually asked the person she told me she was going to go see to lie about being there. And I would have never even talked to them to find out otherwise. She basically ratted herself out. But I never told her I found out. It's one of the many reasons I gave up on her entirely. Camming with other men. He's ex-so now. For a multitude of reasons. After 5 years, I still catch her touching up her makeup as she is parked outside before she comes in, and she's never mentioned that she does this. Makes me feel bad when I'm already in shorts and a t-shirt. Found out my ex-so was cheating on me from pretty much the beginning. About 2 years in, I started to notice her getting weird messages from some guy halfway across the world. Snooped a little bit and found out she would routinely ask for nudes, talk about how itty I am, and would talk about one day meeting up to duck. I confronted her on the issues multiple times, and she promised it was all just a bunch of jokes. A few months later I noticed she downloaded different apps to chat with this guy and never stopped. Duck you 2J. He thinks I can't hear him from the sofa when he farts in the bedroom. I get a kick out of it. This thread is a lot tamer than I expected. I know every once in a blue moon he snoops through my computer for something. I'm not sure what he's looking for, but it's fine. Sometimes people have insecurity issues. His phone unlock code recently changed. He wrote it and his password for dating site on our grocery notepad. I'm not snooping until I need to know. Already know he is dumb AF. I know he considered leaving me 2 years ago. 10 years together now. He has no idea I know. He had a plane ticket booked and everything. After my car was almost stolen, I installed LoJack on my car and my ex-wife's car for safety reasons. She saw me working on her car and I mentioned a bunch of times that I was putting it in my car as well. I kind of figured she knew what I was doing. When she would go to the gym she was actually at her ex's house. Confronted her about it. She lied through her teeth every time. My husband of 15 years was spending a couple of hours reading pedophilic gay porn before coming upstairs to bed. Usually I'd be asleep by then. Reading as in stories of men buggering little boys, or their grandsons, sons or nephews, or the scoutmaster, or the teacher enticing a boy into the barn. Reading is legal. Pictures are not. He was very careful. Once I stumbled across it, I had to deal with the shock that our marriage had been a lie. I'd been useful for breeding, nothing else. But I also knew he was in denial about something deep, that he wasn't going to make good decisions on my behalf, or for his own life, and for our marriage, our sons and our futures. So I put key tracking software onto the computer, with the only justification being that if he spent any money or tried to contact a boy, that I would have to act. While I tried to work out what I was going to do, he never knew that I knew exactly what he was doing and that he lied to my face when I, sympathetically, tried to discuss it. The story is long and sordid and didn't end well. Found out my ex was a predator. The closet alcoholism and meth addiction wasn't half as a surprise as when he finally assaulted a minor. Not together anymore, but she used to pick her nose and wipe the boogers on the underside of a standalone sink that I installed. Every once in a while I would clean the sink and scrape them off and they would reappear. For a while I figured she knew I knew but still did it anyway. Now I think she just genuinely did it without ever thinking about it. I don't know. She never told me. I know she had a tough time before we met, but she never would discuss it other than she had had an abortion and was scared that it would mean we wouldn't have a child together. We were together 25 years. Didn't have a child. And I lost her to bowel cancer 9 years ago. I've been living dead ever since. Was not married, but I found out about it. Found out her then GF was bulimic. After living together for a few months I came home, when she was at work, to cook chicken in the oven. I could not find the cooking dish to put the chicken on. I looked everywhere in the kitchen and all around the house. Last place to look was under our bed. I found the tray with crumbs of brownies. I immediately knew what was up. I confronted her right away when she came home and she screamed at me and said it was wrong of me to find out. Also found out she did sugar. My current told my best friends, and mutual friends of us both, that she was planning on kicking me out of our apartment because she wants to live with one of them and that she also wants to start dating the other one when she's kicked me out. Thankfully they warned me months back, and so I've been stashing money and preparing to move out myself along with their help. Not my anymore, but my ex was having some issues with some things about me. Instead of talking to me about it, she kept it silent for months until it was unbearable for her. A 50/50 chance of finding a feel-good relationship story, or a story of some cheating. He watches porn without me on his phone in the bathroom before we have sex. I kind of want to talk to him about it and tell him it makes me feel like I don't do it for him. But I think it's more because I just don't care for porn that much. My wife loves sweet tea. Whenever we go to the store, we always get a gallon of Milos sweet tea. She drinks it so much to the point where I get none. Every so often, I buy 2 gallons of sweet tea, one of the brand she hates, because it tastes bad, and the other of Milos, which I hide from her until the coast is clear, and when she is at work, I pour out the nasty sweet tea, and pour the Milos into that falling, resulting in her never drinking it. Kind of a jerk move, but she will not stop drinking all the sweet tea before I get some. My wife tries to hide her farts by going into the bathroom and sitting on the toilet to do it. She thinks turning on the fan masks the sound, but we have thin walls and I can always hear them loud and clear. She'd be mortified if she found out I know. I think it's hilarious. I knew what he was going to get me for Christmas in like November last year because he was showing me a list of what he was going to get our friends and I saw my name. Former so. He was a closet alcoholic. I knew when he was drinking. I knew when he was drunk. Even called him out on it from time to time. Never ended good for me, so I stopped. He swears he's sober now, but I don't believe him. He told me he was sober before. Not entirely the worst, but I found out he's trans. He wants to transition from male to female. He has been in denial for years, and I guess he felt comfortable enough in the relationship to start looking into it. I've told him I don't know how I feel about it. I've tried broaching the subject that down the line if I'm not into it, we may have to look into divorce. He's told me he won't change, just his gender. He's going to be the same person. The problem is that he's gone back and forth with being trans for months. Recently, I found out and he hasn't told me he's seriously looking at it again. I'm not sure what to do or feel. My so has some substantial debt from a couple poor decisions right after high school that she thinks I don't know about. She's not the best with money, and she doesn't know how much our apartment or any of the bills related to it are. We're evenly splitting the bill across all our roommates, but she hasn't paid her full share in about a year and a half. She thinks she has, because I've been the one telling her how much she owes each month. But I've been paying about $300 for her on top of my portion and the portion for my siblings. But she's too proud to ask for help with her debt, and I don't want to make her feel insecure by drawing her attention to it. So I've been doing things behind the scenes to help her out.